John, you know, brides like for things to go as planned on that day, and I know that wasn't planned.
Absolutely not. And your wedding day, I'm sure, went off without a hitch, right?
It was a little hotter than I anticipated, but it was fine. And it was outside, too.
Yeah, well, that was good. Hey, at least it didn't pour on you, though, right?
No, it did not. No complaints. Thank goodness.
Thank goodness is right. Yeah, unfortunately, more rain on the way here for later on tonight, and that may play a role in some potential flash flooding for tomorrow morning. But before we get into that kind of doom and gloom there, I want to show you a nice picture that was sent in from Jeff from the JESSUP Industrial Park. Thank you very much for sending this in. That's tonight's sunset. Boy, is it a beauty. Love it. Thanks for sending it along. I wish it was still clear tonight, seeing reports people as far south as Massachusetts are seeing the northern lights. Unfortunately, the clouds tonight kind of playing a spoiler in that regard for us. We've got this front on the way from the west, keeping an eye on this cluster of storms coming up through Maryland now, far southern Pennsylvania just getting into it too. So this is what we'll be watching as this kind of rides its way northeastward, producing some heavy rain, at least for a brief period of time. This is the water vapor satellite imagery loop, but you can see these colors in here, that's some really water-laden air, and it's kind of pointing its way up into some of our backyards here in eastern Pennsylvania. So these are the areas that we feel are most likely to find some of the heaviest rain and that potential for some flash flooding. Notice what's coming in from the west is really falling apart, so we're not worried about anything out that way. Officially, flood watch in effect for all these highlighted counties until 8 in the morning. What I'd tell you is it's basically going to be from about the valley cities, maybe as far west as the back mountain, and then points east. This is where we're going to find the heaviest rain tonight. Areas to the west of that doesn't look like it's going to shake out that way. Also to that end, that flash flood potential basically being highlighted for the southern Poconos and a level 2 out of 4, level 1 out of 4 northwest of that. But again, just, Mother Nature doesn't care about these like boundaries that are drawn up by some weather service. So that's why we're saying basically valley cities, back mountain, points east, most likely areas to find any kind of issues tonight. Here's the latest run of future clouds and radar, and it really points to that. We get to about 2 o'clock in the morning, and some of that rain that we saw in southern Pennsylvania coming into the Schuylkill, as well as into Carbon County, places like Hazleton and southern Luzerne. That's going to be lifting northward. Notice where some of that heaviest rain is, out through the Poconos, about to the valley cities. Points west from there, not as much going on. That lifts northward by the time you're starting to hit the road tomorrow morning. So the heaviest rain is done by the time you are getting going, but that's why you'll have to watch out for the large puddles and potentially some flash flood issues too. Heaviest rain, at least according to this model, out through the Poconos, but notice the stripe even into the valley cities near an inch of rain. And this is just a weather model. That's why we're saying kind of anywhere in this vicinity is in line to potentially see 1 to 2 inches of rain in 1 to 2 hours, and that would raise some issues. So rain becomes likely overnight. But the good news is, as the day wears on tomorrow, it just gets better with time. In fact, I think by tomorrow afternoon, we'll see some sunshine. Humidity starts to come down a little bit. It's the last bark at the park down at the Rail Riders. Good night to check them out. Beautiful evening forecast, but we just got to get through early tomorrow morning first before we get to enjoy this, the 7-day. And it looks phenomenal. Look at the stretch with sunshine. Slightly below average temperatures, but low humidity. It's going to be a great stretch. Update on Lee looks to be far enough east for us to not see much in the way of impacts. Maybe a little breezy and cloudy Saturday, but short of that, looks like we're going to be A-OK. At least that's the latest forecast for now. So keeping an eye on this stuff overnight. Thankfully, Lisa, Lee stays east. If that wiggles west and we were to see any tropical rains from that, it would be a real bad situation, but things still look good in respect to that anyways.
Oh, yes. We definitely want it to head in the right direction so that we don't get that rainfall.
Exactly. We'll all do our anti-rain dance together, pushing it out to sea.
Is that what we need to do?
I think so, yeah.
Let me know.
Yeah.
All right, John. Thank you. Well,